Hello, everyone. I just wanted to come on here and talk about real quick my viewpoint on the topic of accountability. And sorry, I didn't really think this out. I just kind of randomly got inspired to say this. I will normally, probably 99% of the time, give a person 100 chances before I finally close the book on them. Story time. So when I was about 22, I naively got into a relationship with a guy who was a criminal. And I was usually kind of like the odd one out in my group of friends. Like, other people had boyfriends, I didn't have boyfriends. I was just not I don't know. At that age anyway, I was looking for something real and couldn't find it in the circle of boys that I knew at the time. So I kind of settled for this guy who convinced me to start a relationship with him. And he lied a lot to me. I found out that his weekly trips on Friday night to go visit his friend were actually to go to visit with his mom, who was helping him get out of some legal trouble. Basically, he had been embezzling money from companies, or a company that he worked for, and also stealing money out of people's homes when he would go to work in their homes. And then I also found randomly one day needed to look something up or something like that, or download a song or something like that. And I happened to, he was out one day, and I happened to open up his computer innocently, and found a whole bunch of X-rated videos and even stuff about hermaphrodites, and gross. I was a little shocked. So anyway, I found out he'd been lying to me about where he'd been going on Friday nights, and found out the whole story. He finally told me about it, about what had happened, and this company was getting ready to press charges, and he was trying to do things to basically make up the damage done and get back in good standing, basically with his church and with his family and stuff like that. So we had been having these weird problems. He would randomly just get angry with me over nothing, and I was like, wow, that's really weird, why, and because it was my first long-term, I was with him for a year and a half or 2 years. I actually stayed with him 6 months after finding out about it all, because I wanted to believe that there was still some good left in this guy, and that maybe we could just, stay friends. That was a bit stupid of me. So at the very end, he started to become physical towards me, and it was bad. It's really bad. And I was really scared of him. And I asked him in the final moments before I left, I asked him just to be honest with me, just to kind of clear things up and just to maintain staying honest with me. But he couldn't do that. So this was back in 2003. Yeah, so like maybe it was like 2002 or something like that. Anyway, it was a really abusive, nasty relationship. Weirdly enough, I had gotten engaged to him, and, you know, we were living together. We had a whole apartment together. I was like really into antiques back then. And so needless to say, I got out of there as fast as I could once I realized, like, oh, you know what? He's not actually willing to change. Like, none of this is actually changing, and he's continuing actually to lie and steal. And he told me it was just an impulse in him that he didn't know how to stop. And so at that, he completely justified the whole thing. So at that, I said, okay, done. And I left, and I slept on the couch of my cousin's home at the time for about 2 weeks until I was able to find another place to live. And the situation had affected me so much. I lost my job, and I didn't, I had to find another job, and I had to, basically start all over again. But I did, try to make space for letting him come to me and actually change, and to actually leave it with, peacefulness and grace and respect and honesty and truth. But that didn't happen that way. And then with my ex-husband, I stayed in it for years after, that it was never going to change. So stayed in it way longer than that. And again, with him, I also had wanted to leave things peaceful and that sort of thing. Anyway, I won't go into that story right now, but I just wanted to say that, like, it takes a lot for me to, I think as I've gotten older, it's started to take less for me to go, okay, once or twice, okay. And then, disrespect me again or betray me in some way again, then okay, no more, so I've become a lot less lenient on it, I guess, which is hard sometimes. But anyway, I just also wanted to say, with regards to my own stuff, I know that I have stuff to work on in my life as well. I'm not perfect. And I don't blame anyone in my past for what I now am working on with myself. But I always try to hold a standard with them of, just maintaining honesty and accountability with me, regardless of what our status is. So there you go.